Welcome your host, Katty Frink, as she leads discussions about substance use disorder and the journey to recovery. You're listening to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution.
Hey, all you people out there in Minnesota Recovery Connections land with Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution. My name is Katty Frink. I am your host here on Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution. I've said that now twice. Hey, who's across from me?
Hi, my name is Miles.
Miles, welcome. Nice to hear you. So we are our first show at the Pride Festival here, 2025 Pride Festival at Loring Park. And we are having our first technical listening things going on. So I'm going to say special thanks to our generous funders of Patrick and Amy Butler Foundation, Otto Bremer Trust, Sauer Family Foundation, Hardenberg Foundation, alongside many others. And there's a lot of folks out there who are giving to the Minnesota Recovery Connections cause and our different needs that we have. We know we're in a strange place in funding, don't we, Miles?
Yeah.
Yes. And I just want to say that I'm so proud and so excited to be here at the Pride Festival. And for all of those of you who are listening live, this doesn't happen very often. So I'm going to look at Miles across from me and I'm going to ask him what's right with him today.
Thank you, Katty. I was thinking about this question because I've been listening to your podcast.
I know, maybe you have,
you
for sure.
With what's right with you. And you know what comes to mind is, this past week I got a chance to see some of the changes, like over the past year of my recovery, I've grown so much, and I've gotten a chance to see, because I got some disappointing news, how I responded to it.
Oh, interesting.
And it was like, when I did step 3, I'm a 12-stepper, and when I did step 3, I got this understanding that I can be okay even when things aren't okay. I can have faith in myself to get through things. Nice. And I got to see that this week, and it made me feel pretty good. So.
Nice. Yeah, that's something to be really kind of grateful for that recovery brings, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. What's right with you?
Well, what's right with me is I got here. That's always a challenge getting into the Pride Festival, but it was not too bad. I want to recognize the fact that across the street is the Basilica, and there is the funeral of the Hortman family and their dog that got killed a couple weeks ago. And so there's a lot going on. There's that huge event that's going on, this Pride Festival. Do you know that this is the largest one in the world?
Stop it.
Stop it. I know.
What?
No, yeah, I know. 600 to 650,000 people participate in this event that takes place.
Oh, goodness. I had no idea.
I had no idea. I sort of did a little research on that one, and I was like super excited to hear. And that we get to be part of this is like really amazing. So what I want to ask Miles is, give me a little story, give me a little bit of your recovery story, your journey. What's been going on with you? How did you get to this place in Minnesota? So what's the beginning of your recovery story?
The beginning of my recovery story. My goodness, that reminds me of that meeting.
Or maybe your addiction story into recovery. How's that?
Yeah. That reminds me of at meetings when people start off their share with like, I was born. It's like,
let's maybe not go that far back.
No, I'm not going to go that far back.
I don't think we need to go that far back.
But I think that we should. I should start the story of saying like I grew up gay in a household where a conservative household where it wasn't okay. I believed these messages from the church that I grew up in, that God couldn't love me if I was gay, and I certainly couldn't tell anyone about it because couldn't tell my parents because if God couldn't, then and that was really, really tough. I just pretending, and I didn't even realize how hard that was. And now when I go to like events and I have to like perform as a version of myself for the like event, okay. I at the end of the day I'm so exhausted, and I realized not long ago that was my whole life, was performing. And so when I found drugs when I was I think I started smoking weed and drinking when I was 16. I started using methamphetamine when I was 18. Lots of other drugs over the years. Like no wonder I needed some relief, and I didn't know. I did that was what came. Nobody taught me how to be able to cope with what was going on,
kind of inside you and who you were.
Yeah.
It's interesting when you say that, because I remember when I originally started my recovery journey, going to the AA meetings because I had a couple of DWIs and they said I had to.
Yeah.
And I remember one of the things that came up to me was that I was able to take off my cape, my cloak, because I was hiding myself in a different way from the world because the stigma around substance use disorder. So then I think about you as someone who had to hide themselves for so long and act and have that kind of, you had to be somebody else, even though you didn't know who you were.
Yeah.
You were just you were not what am I trying to say? Not transparent to even yourself. So that's a struggle. Thank you for telling me that, because it's interesting, because people have to hide so much of who they are from substance use disorder, but then you layer on having been in the LGBTQI community. So you began to see who you were at 18, 19, whenever you were, or you were covering it up with drugs and alcohol, probably.
I mean, I can honestly say that, probably finding maybe this will be a little controversial to say, but I feel like if I hadn't found something at that time, and I found it in drugs, I don't know if I would have made it.
Yeah.
I needed some relief, and it provided me that relief until it very quickly, addiction is so selfish, isn't it? It takes everything from you. It
owns your soul.
Yeah. I couldn't go to work. I couldn't do anything. It wanted all of my time, all of my energy. And I actually ended up going to treatment for the first time when I was 18.
Wow.
And I, came out to my parents at that time.
How'd that go?
It was fine. They didn't disown me or anything.
Okay.
But oh my goodness. So I'm going to just fast forward through a bunch of it, because there were years of addiction and recovery and things. And if you've been around recovery long enough, most people's stories start sounding the same. And
well, and I think yes, you're right. There's a lot of commonality, because it is a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're in recovery for a while. Sometimes you're using again because the pain comes back, the situation changes, things happen. So so you're right. That roller coaster is pretty well known. So tell us where you want to pick up again.
So, I had a long period of recovery, and I decided that working at a bike shop, which I loved doing, was great, but I wanted to do more. I wanted to give back. I wanted to make the world a better place. So I decided to go to school for social work. I did my undergrad in social work. And I started having a lot more to cope with and not knowing how to cope with it. I remember, working in shelter, because I started working in homeless services, and working in shelter, having, people, there's a lot of trauma working in shelter, and I won't get into it now, but there was a lot that I didn't know how to cope with. And, I ended up having a relapse, and I struggled for 6 years. But off and on, I finished my degree. I ended up moving to San Francisco, managing a shelter there, managing a youth shelter in the Tenderloin, which is the worst neighborhood in San Francisco, in the middle of a fentanyl epidemic. And let me tell you, it was the most challenging experience of my life. And I realized I could not do homeless services anymore. So I decided to go to grad school just across the bay at the school there at Berkeley.
Berkeley, yes.
And I had a relapse while I was there. And I got to tell you, trying to do a grad program while addicted to anything, let alone anything, because addiction is so selfish. It wouldn't let me have the time
to do your schoolwork.
Even when I just had one class, it wouldn't let me go to the class.
That silly substance use disorder, it denied you an opportunity to get education, right? It consumed you.
Oh, I finished my degree.
Oh, you did?
I did. I finished it. I told my mother, because I had this amazing conversation with my mother just out of the blue. She told me, I'm sorry that you ever felt growing up that you couldn't be who you were.
Oh, and I love your mom.
Yes, me too. I told her, I said, okay, if she's telling me I can tell her the truth, I'm going to see how that goes. And I told her, listen, I've been struggling with my addiction, and but I am going to, like, it's not going to stop me from finishing this degree. I'm going to graduate, or I am going to die trying. And she said, well, maybe come stay with us while you're finishing your program, and then we can figure out what to do from there. And so,
so let me ask a question.
Yeah.
So it feels like the truth of talking to someone and the kindness that she offered kind of set you free.
Oh my, it changed everything.
And I think that's one of the things that we talk about on this journey of recovery, and that is if we can have a clear and understanding conversation with someone, and someone, rather than come back at us like, well, why would you do that? Or how do you do that? Or this is what you should do. But they say, you know what? Why don't you come stay with me and let you finish that degree? Maybe even if you're still struggling with your substance, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, really? You love me that much?
And let me tell you, I tried quitting while I was staying with her, and every time within 2 days I was suicidal. And she said, listen, I know that you don't want to be using anymore, but, it's also, not worth dying over.
Right.
So why don't we, once you are finished with your degree, because it was almost there, we were almost there.
You're on that cusp, right?
She said, why don't we figure out what you're going to do after that? And so a week after, I walked across the stage and got my, degree, sat down, cried harder than I ever have in my life. A week after that, I walked across the jetway to get on a plane to come to Minnesota and go to Pride Institute.
Whoo! Wow. I mean, really when you're thinking about what support looks like and what someone's willing to do alongside you. And I mean, I think, Miles, that's such an incredible story, because what it is that somebody just cared so much about you and helped you get to a goal, and then you're going to go towards that goal. And just what we talk about in Peer Recovery Services is meeting people where they're at. I mean, that's just amazing. I want to meet your mom one day and give her a big old hug.
I'll let her know.
Okay, please do. When she comes up to Minnesota, tell her Caddy wants to give her a hug. Well, we're going to take a break quite quickly. And what I really want to do is I want to thank all the sponsors here at the Pride Festival 2025 at Loring Park. We have the Gay Men's, Twin Cities Gay Men's Chorus that is sponsoring this opportunity. Cause Cart, Cup of Java, get some good Java. Masla, Minutemen Press Uptown, Maverick Real Roast Beef, located in Roseville, because that's what some of the advertisements said. And New Place Like Home. No Place Like Home, Realtors. This is your dyslexic caddy reading things, so just know that. And Nicolette Macaroons. Oh, I've heard about her. I think she's in the over there somewhere. I will get that correctly. And so we are going to be coming back from Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution, here with Miles. And thank you for listening.
Guitar needs 6 strings, 'cause without it there's no...
All Energy Solar is proud to be back at the Twin Cities Pride Festival this year. With over 15 years of experience, they've helped Minnesotans switch to clean, sustainable solar energy. They make solar accessible to everyone while reducing your carbon footprint. Whether it's for your home or business, All Energy Solar designs personalized systems and delivers top-quality experience from start to finish. During Pride Weekend, All Energy Solar is offering a special $500 discount when you stop by their booth and go solar. You can find them near the Harmon Place entrance in the red zone at booth 595. Need a little sunscreen while you're enjoying the festival? They've got you covered with free mini sunscreen and fun temporary tattoos all weekend long. The friendly team of solar experts will be on hand to answer your questions and celebrate right alongside you. Stop by and say hi or visit allenergysolar.com to learn more.
Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Mavericks has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had, made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Mavericks Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Boldly Challenging Ableism is here to go where some people won't. I'm Katrina Simons, and every week I'm digging into the real impact of ableism, breaking down myths, calling out barriers, and pushing for a world where disabled people belong in every space. With my work at the University of Minnesota's Institute on Community Integration and a lifetime of lived experience, I'm diving into everything from employment and housing to justice and culture. And yeah, I bring some humor and heart along the way. Catch us Sundays at 2 p.m. right here on AM 950, or listen anytime by finding Boldly Challenging Ableism on YouTube or your favorite podcast app.
This is Alex Knorr from Buzzcut Mowing, a young, hardworking entrepreneur serving the Southwest Metro with affordable lawn care. I take the hard work off your plate with weekly mowing. I also offer leaf cleanups, aeration, dethatching, tree trimming, and mulch installation. I'll keep your lawn beautiful so you can enjoy your weekends with the people who matter most. Visit buzzcutmowingmn.com. That's buzzcutmowingmn.com.
Cafe Latte offers made-from-scratch soups, salads, sandwiches, and mouth-watering desserts.
So come check out their pizza and wine bar, or get a treat from the bakery made fresh daily. Plus, you can still do online ordering and takeout, along with gift cards. Just go to cafelatte.com and choose from their ever-changing selection of award-winning salads, sandwiches, and soups. Cafe Latte is located off Victoria and Grand and online at cafelatte.com.
Welcome back. Here we are, Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution. Hey, I want to let you know what's happening here at Pride. There is live broadcast going on all day long, no breaks. That's what I've been told, but we have people that are totally able to handle that. So at 11 o'clock, we have Connections Radio. At 12 o'clock, we have Feels Out Loud. At 1 o'clock, we have Native Roots Radio. I'm Awake. Woo woo! 2 o'clock, we have The Gailey Show. That's going to be a 2-hour special. Ooh, bug in the eye. And at 4 o'clock, we have Illegal Trans Women with Ellie Krug. So we have a full day of stuff happening. Miles, you're just in the beginning.
I'm so
Look
excited.
at you. I know it's going to be a day. So welcome back to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution. Miles was in the midst of telling his personal story of finding his recovery. So you got off the stage in California and got on a plane and came to Minnesota. What did that look like?
Wasn't that just the perfect time for the break, too?
I know it was.
Like,
it's just like you just said transformation. Yes.
Minnesota, chapter 2.
Yeah. Love it, love it. So tell us what happened when you got off the plane in Minnesota.
You know, so the people at the Pride Institute were so nice. They had, sent an Uber.
Tell people what Pride is, just because there might be listeners out there. Because remember, not everybody knows everything about recovery that listens to this show.
Okay. I think Pride Institute was like the first LGBTQ treatment center in the country.
I think it was. I think you're right. Absolutely.
And, they have been provided, I think, over 25 years of providing, treatment services specifically targeted to queer individuals. So yeah, that's, and I don't even remember when I first heard about Pride Institute. I feel like I always just kind of knew, hanging out with my drug-using friends when in my late teens and early 20s, when somebody would disappear, they would go to Minnesota when they were ready to get off the ride.
Well, you do know that we are the land of 10,000 treatment centers, not just 10,000 lakes. So
it's like the Malibu of the Midwest.
Oh, I like that.
Not for the weather.
We have to just endure that. There's something to love about that as well. So
I always knew of Minnesota as the recovery state.
Yeah, it is.
And so, I went to Pride Institute, and it's funny. I wasn't trying to be sober. I thought that was kind of like an extreme reaction. Like I just didn't want to do meth anymore.
Reaction.
Like I didn't want to quit drinking. Like live in this world with nothing. But I kind of fell in love with NA.
Which is
Narcotics Anonymous.
Thank you. See, we gotta tune in the folks in the listening world. Yeah.
I tried it before. I never knew that there was a place for somebody who believes the things that I believe. I'm not a spiritual or religious person, but it turns out the only thing that you have to do for membership to Narcotics Anonymous is not want to use anymore.
There you go.
Like, I got that.
You don't want to. You might not. You might not want to stop either, but you don't want to.
Yeah, and so Minnesota, the recovery state. That is and that's been my experience since I got here, because as my time in treatment came to an end, like I'd finished my school program. I didn't need to go back to Berkeley. I had already like had somebody, a friend of mine, like take over my lease, move into my apartment. I had nowhere to go. I had nothing going on in my life. I had no job to go back to.
You're kind of free floating there after you found your recovery.
And they said, okay, well, how about outpatient and a sober house? And I'm like, oh, okay, why not? We definitely don't have time I'm sure we don't have time to talk about everything that goes along with this next statement, but, like I went to an outpatient program that paid for my sober living.
Yeah.
While that was a thing. Yep. And goodness.
There's some controversy around all that. That's kind of what we're tiptoeing around.
Yeah.
But the fact is that it was there for you.
It was there.
When you needed it. And that's amazing.
It was such an amazing resource to have that. And I was able to have a solid foundation to rebuild my life. I got a job. I work for Common Bond Communities, working in a program for formerly homeless vets. So I moved out of homelessness and into permanent supportive housing, which is still considered to be part of the general homeless response system. But we're in housing now, which is nice.
Yeah.
But I always thought when I was working in homelessness, housing was will solve everyone's problem. But now I work in housing and I realize,
there's a few more steps to just getting somebody a place, right?
Yeah, and I work with a lot of people who are, still using substances, or they're recovery curious, or they're in and out of recovery.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to and I think that this might be something, because you work with a lot of peer support.
That is what we do. Yeah.
That is what you do. And I think so many of them enter the work with a approach that's grounded in success orientation. We're going to help these people get into recovery. And it's
not that easy.
It's not that easy.
Yeah.
Some people are just not ready for that, or some people don't even connect all of the problems in their life with their substance use. They'll come to me with their psychosis and all these other things and all these horrible things that have happened to them, and I'll say, well, have you considered drug treatment? And they're all like, what does that have to do with any of the things I just told you? I'm like, well, and
let me do a little clarification, because I think the thing that I really try, having just come out of a class last week, Miles, I got 20 people sitting in front of me, what is a peer recovery specialist? And I think that is somewhat of that's the push, and that is everybody's got to go to treatment. That's what you need. And I think the thing about peer recovery specialists and peer recovery services is that it's what do you want to do with your recovery is really, really the main question. Let me tell you, I just burrow that in all the individuals that I have the luxury and the opportunity to train. But that is asking people where they want to go with having sat down in front of me as a peer recovery specialist. Yeah, I'm in recovery. Yeah, I had my journey. Yeah, maybe it wasn't perfect, but what do you want to do? Because a lot of times, because we are in the treatment state of the world, 10,000 treatment centers along with 10,000 lakes, we think that's the only way to go. And there's so many options. And I think what I want to pull out from what you said, and that is so many people think that that's the only journey, and it's not. You can do recovery dharma. You can do recovery in the 12-step program. You said that that's part of your journey. You can do it in just making pies. You can do it in so many different ways. And I think the important part is what your mom said to you back a while ago, and that is, I just want you to stay alive, and I want you to be the best person that you can be, and where can I meet you along on that? I think your mom was an up-and-coming peer recovery specialist, and she didn't know it. Maybe. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of people think you just got to push people into recovery, but they don't, like you said, they don't even know what they need yet. They just are recovery curious, or they're just help me, right? So I interrupted you in your story, and I just had to step in there because the thing is that we need to help people figure out what's coming up next. And that's what you do. So continue on. I'll shut up.
Yeah. And I mean, what you're talking about, like meeting people where they're at, have you seen the video with the woman with the nail? And it's not.
Oh, yeah.
It's not about the nail.
It's not about the nail. Hey, I just showed it to my class yesterday.
Yes. And so, for those who haven't seen the video, it's basically the whole point of the video is that, you might be able to see what somebody's problem is, but what they're talking to you is about the impact and what they want to work on. You can't reach out and pull out that nail.
So let's define the video. So it's a young lady sitting on a sofa that it's called It's Not About the Nail. And there's literally a big, big, big nail in her forehead. And all her boyfriend wants to do is just take out the nail and it'll all be better.
Yeah.
She's like, no, you're not hearing me.
Yeah.
You're not hearing me. And he's like, but if you just, and she's like, see, you're not even listening to me. I've watched it so many times. I can literally practically go through it. But the point is, and what I do for my students that I get the honor to work with is I say, the most important thing we can do is listen to people. Don't tell them what to do. Don't tell them what they should do. Ask them what they could do. That's to me, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Continue on.
So it's been really a journey of learning to work with people about maybe not the problems in their life, but how do you cope with the impact that the problems are having?
Nice.
And the way that they feel. How do you help them with that? And so it's been a really big journey learning how to do that person-centered work.
Mm-hmm.
But something you were going to ask me about you had asked me before about the the queer community, queer recovery.
Yeah,
community.
so I'd like to know what your experience. You came to Minnesota. You knew that Pride was here. Pride Institute was here to get you in recovery. You knew that this was probably going to be a safe place as a man who lives in the LGBTQIA community. So, what has your experience been? You've been here. You said a year. What's it been like to be here? I know you were in San Francisco, so you're kind of in the Mecca there, and Berkeley is going to be very accepting as well. So what has your experience been like living in the Twin Cities in this community, both in recovery as well as just here we are in Minnesota?
So Minnesota is, so I've only ever lived on the West Coast. So
welcome to the Midwest, baby.
So, but it's really interesting. The queer community, I went to Rochester Pride, which was adorable. And it was so cute. It was I was all these families, and it was mostly churches with booths. It's people are aggressively supportive,
nice,
aggressively accepting of queer people here. There's lots of
outward expression about it versus subtly there. Yeah. We're out and about on our folks that are queer. Yes.
Yeah, and I feel it's very different from the West Coast vibe because at the West Coast it seems nobody feels the need for any of that because
it's all there.
Yeah, but here it's people are very outward about their support because they know that it's necessary here.
Mm-hmm.
With everything going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's been really amazing to see that difference. And as far as queer recovery, it was very nice coming out of Pride and then going to meetings and seeing people that I'd already gone through treatment with and getting to meet more of the queer community. And I have started doing advocacy, with Minnesota Alliance of Recovery Community Organizations. And in fact, I'm friends with one of the people on the staff there, Whitney. And
who was supposed to be here today,
yes.
But she had to be at Pride doing her booth today.
She's got her booth. She has her very. Have you seen her Pride can for her beverage ostracized?
I've consumed some, and I haven't seen her latest rendition. But
the Pride can is beautiful.
Is it? Oh, I'll have to see it.
So I was at the gay 90s, which is a gay bar in
downtown Minneapolis.
Downtown Minneapolis. That's where we are. And I wanted to get a non-alcoholic drink. I don't like juice is too sweet. I want something a little more upscale than like a soda. Yeah. And like the only like non-alcoholic drink they had was like a non-alcoholic Guinness. And even when I was drinking it, it was just, there's no bubbles in it.
We need bubbles. we need something fun.
And so, like the one thing that I think that I would like to see more of in the queer community is like queer establishments being more sober friendly, like having more, especially because like our community for the longest time, our safe space was in our bars, but it's not a safe space for people who are queer and in recovery. And is there a way, this is just one of the ways that I think like the queer community could be more recovery friendly. Is like we look at these spaces and find ways of inviting people in without any alcohol. Like, there's no alcohol sponsors, are there?
No.
Okay, so alcohol is literal poison. Like
it's hard on the body in many
cancer,
ways.
Like even moderate drinking.
Yeah.
And so like, is there a way that these spaces could become, like
have
more,
some
more
sort
inviting.
of space where somebody's in recovery they can go to a club, they can dance,
Yeah.
they can have fun, they can be part of the community, but they don't have to imbibe. Back in the 80s and the 90s, I was all about hanging out with all my queer friends back in the day. And I knew all the bars.
Yeah.
And we were just literally talking about it yesterday in our class, and that is we have to respect the fact that people still want to go out and socialize and dance and be part of it. But you're right, is like where can the safe space for people who go to bars and restaurants, where can they get a non-sweet, non-juice something like what Whitney has with ostrich,
like the
ostrich,
bird,
yeah,
ostrich eyes.
Ostrich eyes, something to drink, because it's not all about getting drunk. It's about literally socializing and having fun. That's why we go to bars and places. Yeah, it's about karaoke. Yeah. Okay, it's about karaoke. I think I need to see Miles on a karaoke stage is what I think has got to happen.
I do Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf the whole 10 minutes, and I'm literally on the floor by the end of it.
Okay, you got to tell me when and where, and I will be there
I'll let
as
you
part
know
of your support.
Time.
Absolutely. What a good discussion. I'm really glad you've got a real interesting observation of being in Minnesota as something very different for the queer community than even on the West Coast. And the West, because even, get San Francisco for so long, in Minnesota, we're in the flyover state, that. And so everything just comes here a little late. So we're just out and about, pride and queer people and stuff. So marvelous. Well, we're about ready to take a break. So I would like to, again, thank some of the sponsors that are sponsoring this event. The Twin Cities Gay Men Chorus Entertainment worth coming out for. We have Cup of Java serving coffee, drinks, and good stuff in Bryn Mawr neighborhood over on the other side of where we're at right now. We have No Place Like Home Realtors working hard for our clients while serving communities. Mavericks Real Roast Beef, talked about them. So there's a lot of great people that are sponsoring this, and we've got shows that are coming up again at 11 o'clock. After us is Connections Radio. At 12 o'clock, we have Feels Out Loud. At 1 o'clock, we have Native Roots Radio. And so there's a lot going on. Thank you for listening to Redefining Recovery here on AM 950. And Miles will be back in a couple of seconds. Thanks very much.
June is bursting with color, community, and joy, and Coscart is your destination for shopping with pride and purpose. Find pride-themed earrings that support queer causes, hand-poured candles that celebrate identity, and bath teas that nourish your spirit, all while with supporting the makers and mission-driven brands working to build a better world. At Coscart, every item reflects a cause, every brand gives back, and every order helps create the kind of future we want to live in. Biodegradable packaging and carbon offset shipping are standard. And during Pride Month, you get free local delivery in the Twin Cities when you enter pickup at checkout, now through June 30th. Whether you're buying a gift, treating yourself, or just browsing for joy, know that every purchase supports positive action. Celebrate Pride. Shop with purpose. Visit cause-cart.com today for free local delivery in the Twin Cities when you enter pickup at checkout until June 30th. Cause-cart.com. Shop what matters to you.
Hi, this is Frank Brown of Minuteman Press Uptown with a question for our local leaders. How do you reward your employees? How do you appreciate your business partners? Thousands of local organizations just like yours count on Minuteman Uptown for promotional products. We craft custom awards and plaques. We print your logo on apparel, office supplies, and thousands of other items. Minuteman Uptown helps you reward employees and stay top of mind with customers and vendors. We print everything. Contact us today at mpuptown.com.
Chanhassen Dinner Theaters brings you its most popular show of all time, Grease. You'll hear all your favorite hits from the Broadway musical and the movie. Join the whole gang at Rydell High. We'll sing, we'll dance, we'll bring you back to high school life in the 50s. Poodle skirts, bobby socks, the soda shop, and drive-in movies. Grease. It'll rock your socks off. Order your tickets today. Visit chanhassendt.com.
Crooners is a classic supper club with a wide range of entertainment. Make your reservations for a parade of international, national, and local artists in the main stage showroom, the intimate Dunsmore Jazz Room, or outdoors at the seasonal Belvedere Under the Stars space. Or enjoy Maggie's Piano Lounge. Enjoy 4-star food and drinks with first-class supper club service. What are you waiting for? Go to croonersmn.com for more information and schedule. That's croonersmn.com.
Minnesotans age 65 plus might qualify for Health Partners Minnesota Senior Health Options. The easy all-in-one plan includes personal support, coverage for medical, prescription drugs, and dental, plus many extra benefits. Eligibility information is available at healthpartners.com/oneplan. Health Partners is a health plan that contracts with both Medicare and the Minnesota Medical Assistance Medicaid program to provide benefits of both programs to enrollees. Enrollment in Health Partners depends on contract renewal.
Welcome back. I'm going to crinkle a package here. And crinkling that package is to let you know that Nicolette's Macaroons is one of our sponsors. And they have a food truck that they serve their macaroons on. And I think, what did you think of the macaroon that you just ate, Miles?
Oh, it was absolutely delicious.
Was it wonderful?
Yeah.
Great. I can hardly wait. So they are one of the many sponsors that are here at Pride. And I just want you to know that there's a awesome lineup that's taking place for the rest of the day, as well as some of the sponsors, Gay Men's Chorus, Cozcart, Kappa Java, Coffee, Mesla, which is our Twin Cities Metro Public Libraries and community committed to providing services and resources to the LGBTQ community, because that's just an acronym that we need to know what that is. Minutemen Press, Mavericks, catty, roast beef, No Place Like Home Realtors, and then, of course, the macaroons. Okay, there we are. So we want to have fun with this. So, Miles, you, like Minnesota, we were talking about how it's sometimes hard to be in recovery in the LGBTQI community, as well as going out to places and spaces, because that's one of the things that everybody struggles with is like, how do I still have fun? If I don't drink, then I have to sit at home and like get depressed again, and then maybe I can use. That doesn't sound good. But you also work for an amazing organization called Common Bond, which you said helps veterans find their find homes. Correct?
So, yeah. So
tell me more.
So Common Bond is a large affordable housing provider, and they have lots of different programs, lots of different buildings that have different demographics for serving people who need affordable housing. So they've got senior buildings, they've got buildings that are, or units that are designated for people coming out of long-term homelessness that need extra support. They've got like the building that I work at is all veterans. It's permanent supportive housing, and just to give you an idea of what permanent supportive housing is, so that is housing for people who face barriers not just to entering housing, but to remaining housed.
Okay. So they don't sort of fall out of a housing situation because the world sort of falls apart. It's like continuing services, so they kind of can sustain their housing. Would that be accurate?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So I work in Advantage Services, which is like we are the service end. There's property management, and we are the services. We basically like connect them with the resources that they need if they need help with paying their rent, or if they're having issues that require like a mental health intervention. Like we connect them with mental health resources. We connect them with food resources. If they have barriers to like applying for benefits, like they don't have an ID, or like we help them with all of these things.
Sort of sounds like peer recovery services that we train people to do.
Yeah,
it really is about building community around somebody and all the needs that they might have. And it's really sort of one of those things where you do that, and that this is the kind of thing that people who are looking for recovery, maybe have fallen off of their recovery, reused, and some part of their life has fallen apart. Somebody sit back and say, hey, what happened? Tell me what's going on. What's not working, right? So it sounds like that's really a lot of what you're doing, is just really building community around somebody so they feel like they're supported. Does that sound right?
I mean, building community is so important. We've all seen that video with Johan Hari, who talks about how, he ends it with the opposite of addiction
is human connection. Yep.
And so, in an environment where, in a low barrier harm reduction environment, one of the things that like I am always, how do we bring more community, more connection, so that people have something to do, something to make their life, worth living. And that's that connection.
Yeah. Fulfilling. Once we have used substances for a long time, we understand how to kind of communicate with a whole different kind of population, let's just say. And so what we need to do is we need to help people have connections with other people. We can still connect with people who use, who drink and who drugs, but we have to do it safely.
Yes.
And that's, I think, a really key component to it. And you were saying how much individuals like yourself who are helping people who are trying to put their lives together, the stress around helping people who are hurting, right? So you have to work with people that are struggling with homelessness, trying to build their community. And you had said on break that there was a time when you were still struggling with your own recovery, or you weren't even in recovery. You were sitting, what did you say?
So, yeah, I was working briefly this was back in Portland, Oregon. I was working in a program where I was doing case management. And
case management, trying to get people housing?
Trying to get people housing.
Okay.
It was like nobody had taught me how to take care of myself in the work. I thought about all these people I wanted to help, and that's why I went into social work, all of the people I wanted to help. But I never thought about, the person who needs to be at that top of the list of people that I'm going to help needs to be me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know about that. Nobody taught me how to cope with like wanting so much for these people to get better and for their lives to not be a mess, and you spend the whole day trying to set something up for them to have a roof over their head, and all you have to do is show up, and then they don't. And I remember just being devastated, and it wasn't long into that job when I was at a bar at 2 p.m. drinking margaritas, writing my case notes, and it's that's because nobody taught me how to cope with the emotional
the despair that people are going through. Yeah. Well, I'll have you know, in my class, everybody has to do a self-care something the night that they leave the evening. In my class, they have to do self-care, and then they have to tell everybody about it the next day, because you're absolutely right. When people care and have so much empathy for other people, we can get just tapped out.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you said you endured. It is one of the primary things that we try to support people with in our organization, to say, you got to be number one on your own list.
Yeah.
And if somebody didn't tell you that, I'm sorry, because everything that you do, helping the people in the community, it is just a suck of energy off of you unless you recoup that, right?
Well, the way that I think about it is, that you go through, anytime you work at a social services organization, you go through the trainings about professional boundaries, and the boundary that they never teach you about is the boundary between what the client wants and what you want for the client. And, so really having I had to learn that boundary for myself, how to just like show up for what the client wants, and also be mindful of like where I'm getting, because it's where I'm at, because like it's one thing to go home and do self-care, and it's another thing to know that like I'm being triggered in this conversation that I'm having with a client, and like if it gets to the point where I'm going to get angry at them, that's going to damage my relationship with them. So I need to disengage from this conversation before that happens.
Yeah. Well, and it's a really important component, because when people have struggled with a lot of trauma, and generally people that have substance use disorder have trauma as well. So you can get what we call secondary trauma stress. You can get triggered by what somebody's gone through because you feel with them. You feel alongside them. That's Brene Brown coming out there. So we feel with people. And sometimes that feeling with can take a lot of energy out of us. So, if I say many times when I'm talking to the greater public, and that is the people that we want to help, the people that struggle, the people that are the people that we love the most, sometimes we have to make sure that we take care of ourselves so that we can take care of them.
Yeah.
But we really can't take care of them. What we need to do is we need to give them an opportunity to learn what it is they are capable of. And so when you're talking about this, it makes me really think that the social services world needs a whole lot more information about self-care.
So have you heard of recovery-friendly workplaces?
Oh, yeah.
So, it's so they're what's his name? Jeremy Drucker is like launching like the is working on Governor Walz had done this executive order about making the state a recovery-friendly workplace, and so Jeremy Drucker, who is the head of the Office of Addiction and Recovery, he's spearheading that. And I had spoken with the Recovery Friendly Workplace Institute. I've spoken with one of their staff, and they said that there's state-level certifications that are happening in other states, and so they're actually working with him on developing something like that for Minnesota, like a Minnesota statewide certification for recovery-friendly workplaces. And so, I feel like when I was in these workplaces, that I ended up in that place, of being so burned out that I ended up, having a return to use. I had so much shame and guilt about it, but also they were they knew that I was a person in recovery.
You were struggling,
and that I was working in an environment that was risky for me, and there weren't the supports there. And so now there's this push about if we're going to ask that people who have these risk factors work in these risky environments, let's make sure that we have the supports as a employer.
Yeah.
And so I'm very excited to see, what they are able to do with a statewide program for recovery-friendly workplaces. And it would be great if, places that, employed people who are working in this kind of hard work, this social services work, if they would, really look into how do
you support that workforce?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I work for Minnesota Recovery Connection, which is a nonprofit organization that one of the main things that we instituted and continue to do, which is everybody must take care of themselves. And if you are, on the risk of a reuse, you're getting burnt out, we try to have a really open dialogue in our organization. It's one of the key components when you're working for a recovery community organization doing peer-to-peer work. You got to take care of your people who are working for you. And so what we do is we have mental health days that people can take. We recognize that. And what we need to do is, I think to your point, is make sure that people who are helping people have helped themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to think that you're sitting at some bar having a margarita writing notes and you're also you're like, but I want to help them, but I can't even help myself.
Yeah.
What a tough scenario to be in. My goodness. So you help predominantly vets finding homes, but you've been working in the homeless, trying to get people homes. What's one of the biggest struggles that you see? And we talked about it, so try to pull it out of your hat that it's not just that you give somebody a home, but what else do you have to put around them?
Goodness. So, so homelessness is obviously, it's not a monolith. There are as many experiences of homelessness and causes for homelessness as there are households that have entered into that situation.
Yep.
And so some people, all they need to get out of homelessness is a small amount of cash to get them right where they need to be. or they need to be like referred into, they need to be set up with affordable housing, or like they just need like some people might just need a short, immediate intervention. Some people might need a long-term, like financial intervention. But some people need, need more support. Like especially, like if you're working with somebody who is struggling with substance use and they're not able to like maintain a job.
Right.
Like Minnesota has this amazing funding source. Minnesota Housing Support, and it's for people who have a disability, and there's additional funding for people who have experienced long-term homelessness, who are not able to not able to work, and they will pay for rent, they'll pay for the like food, household needs,
really
it'll fund
complete
services
supportiveness to somebody's house, to support a house's need, to support the whole picture around having a house and having a home.
In fact, some of the sober houses in Minnesota are funded with housing support. They have housing support available for people who are exiting treatment and have nowhere to go. Mm-hmm. And especially like right now, as we're looking at other funding sources for sober houses, really, going away, it would be really nice because to see the housing support program get some more funding, because it provides so much support for people who otherwise wouldn't have anything.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's one of the key components to sustaining somebody's recovery is to have something to go to where they can call a place a home, rather than sort of get out of treatment and get out of something and they don't know. And that's why we do what we do at Minnesota Recovery Connection, do peer recovery services. Can we catch somebody in that net, in that in-between phase? Well, Miles, it was a delight to have you on this program.
We should do it again.
Yeah, let's do it again. I want to do it again. I want to hear a lot more about what you're doing and all the different stories. So again, I want to thank you for listening to Redefining Recovery, Recovery Revolution. Please join us in supporting our mission and becoming maybe an annual donor. We are always in funding crunches these days. And so we invite you to even volunteer for our organization. That gives us a great opportunity. So there are shows coming up, 11 and 12 and 1 and 2 and 4. So don't turn off the dial. Stay with it. We've got sponsors of Twin Cities Gay Men's Chorus, Pause Cart, Cup of Java, Masa, Minutemen, Uptown Press, Mavericks, Roast Beef, No Place Like Home, Realtors, and Nicolette Macaroons. Here's the count. I can hardly wait to eat one. So have a great day. Thank you for listening to Redefining Recovery, Recovery Revolution. Goodbye, Miles.
Goodbye.
You have a good day.
You too.
America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the...
Come on, you know it's true. Work is almost bearable when the Stephanie Miller Show is on. AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis.